Hello, hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mary Kay and thank you so much for stopping by. So on today's video, we are going to be making this fabulous peplum top. We have three ways of wearing it. This is the first way of using your chain as a lace or as a belt just to tie it to give it that figure, um, you know, body figure. The second way is just wearing it as it is, just as a free baggy-ish top. And then we have the third way where we get to snatch it on the sides. So you're going to make two separate chains for that. Now, it's a yoke top, so we're working it from top down. I have a full video of a yoke making process, so please, um, go watch that if you don't know how to make a yoke, because you need to watch that to understand, as I have only briefly touched on it on this video. So when you make yours, please don't forget to tag me or DM it to me at Mary Kay's Designs. So let's get on with this, and please watch to the end and I will appreciate it, or leave me a comment.
So this is what you're making, a peplum top. Here's the finished product. And now there are two ways for you to make this particular top. Way number one is just attaching it together just the way I have. No biggie, just that, like you just attach it at the back. The next way is not attaching at the back and leaving one stitch on one side and one stitch on the other side, or two stitches each, and then putting what is it called, a zipper. Well, I chose the attaching way. However, I'm going to attach here a photo of a top I made with a zipper, just to give you some insight on how you can do it. So you could do that, and the purpose of having a zipper allows you to make the top as tight as you want, as tight as you want it on your body, because that way you'll have an opening that allows you to wear it with no issues. So let us begin. Now, I have a full video dedicated on how to make a yoke. I would suggest you go watch that one, because it's a step-by-step video explanation of how to make the yoke. Because in this one I'll just be breezing through, because if I have to start from the beginning and explain everything, that will take more than 10 minutes on this video. So please go ahead and watch it. I'll direct you on which video it is, but as of now, these are some of the just some of the steps that you need to follow. We have number 1 to 6 on how to make your yoke. I simplified it for you. So yeah, that's what you're going to do. Now, one more thing to put into your equation as you're making your top. If you're attaching it here and not using a zipper, your measurements will need to be big enough at the neck, because you're starting from top working our way downwards. It's going to be big enough to fit your neck, your head, when you're wearing it. Big enough that it stretches and is able to fit your head once you're wearing it. That is a big factor to consider. Now, so let's get started. Grab your hook, your yarn, and you're going to need 4 stitch markers. I use safety pins, so you're going to need 4 stitch markers, your hook, your yarn, and your tape measure, and your yoke measurements. All right. Now, once you have your tape measure and your yarn, we're going to first of all start with making a slip knot. Once you have that, remember, we do not make chaining rows here. We start by making 3 stitches. Once you have your 3 stitches, because for this project we are working with half doubles. Now you're going to yarn over. After your 3 stitches, you're going to yarn over, go to the very first stitch that you just made and insert your hook, yarn over and pull through. You're going to have 3 loops in your hook. Now with these 3 loops, you're going to be working on a chaining row and the first row. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook on the very first one and pull through just on that one, and then 3 loops on your hook once again, yarn over and pull through everything. Next thing, you yarn over, twist your work. There is some 2 loops at the very end. That is where you're going to insert your hook and shoot both loops. Yarn over and pull through. 3 loops on your hook. Now let's make our chaining row. You yarn over, pull through just the first one. Again, you'll still have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through everything. Repeat, yarn over, twist your work, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, make your chaining row by pulling through just the first one. Again, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through everything. Now that you have your yoke measurements, you already know the number of stitches you're going to make. As you can see here, there's this number 136, and please note this is not what I used. This was for that video that I made explaining all of this, but this is just an example. You're going to have a total number of the chains that you're going to need, including the increasing rows, the 1 stitch you're going to add after each and every one, where you're going to put your stitch markers. Now go ahead, make the number of stitches that you need, and I will meet you right back. We are going to assume that this is the length that we need, and please bear with me and go watch that video before watching this one. That is if you don't know how to make a yoke. So the next step after you have your length, after you followed the steps on the video again, you're going to insert your hooks on their respective places. Now remember, if you're not using a zipper, then on your last stitch you're going to need to attach to the other side. So you do as usual, make your chaining row, and then you grab the other side, pull it, ensure it's straight. Remember that, ensure that it is straight. You're going to insert your hook on the very first stitch that you made on the other side, yarn over, and just pull through everything. Now you're going to chain 1. I always chain 1 instead of the 3. It confuses me a lot, so I just chain 1 and then turn your work. Yarn over, and you're working in both loops, and put your half double and continue. Half double all through, and when you get to your stitch marker, you're going to remove it and put 3 stitches on the same loop. 3 stitches on the same stitch. Remove your stitch marker, 3 half doubles, 1, 2, 3. And you're good to go. Now once you have your 3, you're going to take your hook, and on the middle stitch, the second stitch, that is where you're going to put it back and continue. You're going to continue doing this until you have a good enough length that is going to fit your bust. That's it. That is basically what you're going to do. Once you get there, I will meet you there. Again, please go watch my how to make a yoke video. I will link it up so that you understand. That is if you don't know how to make a yoke. This is what you're going to need to have by the time you're done with your yoke. I made mine up to 15 inches because it's going to stretch and I need it a bit tight on my body. So this is what you're going to have, and you're going to need to do a lot of measuring, especially from this part to here, and then you're also going to need to measure from here to here and the length. So those are 3 portions that you need to measure. Now remember, like I said earlier, you can make this top 2 ways, either with this seam or with a zipper. So if you were to use a zipper, you didn't need to attach. So now what you're going to do is we're going to attach these two so that now we can start working on our body portion. And this next part, we're going to work it until we are close to our belly button, which is when we're going to start increasing to have our the peplum part. I think that's what it's called. So now what you're going to do, we are going to continue working the same way all the way from here, from where you turned up to where you have your first stitch marker. This is where you're going to stop. Okay, so let me meet you there. So when you get here, you're going to remove your stitch marker and put your next half double in that said stitch marker. So we're going to just continue working it normally, because this kind of top you're making doesn't require us to add any increases. Now maybe later on I'm going to do a tutorial where I show you how to add on stitches on the side to increase the length of your bust area, but this is my first stitch marker, and I just put my half double. And the next side, this side, you're going to remove my next stitch marker and put a half double as usual. Now remember one thing, we are working from here, from the back in circle. When we get here, we're not going to continue to the hand side because we're done with that for now. Actually, we're done with the hands completely, so we're just going to now start working round. Now this is what now we would call the chest area. So when you get here, we are going to start working towards this direction. So what I mean by that is you're going to twist your work, remove this stitch marker, and put in your next half double as usual, just normally. It's going to be a bit stretched, but that's okay. Can work with that, and just continue until we get to the next stitch marker where we're going to do the same thing, and voila, that's it. We're just now going to start working on it until we get to our belly button, where we're going now to start making the peplum. So let me meet you in my next stitch marker so that I remind you. So next stitch marker, you're going to remove it. You put your half double as usual, come to the other side, remove the stitch marker, and just put your half double. Literally, that is it. That's it, and you just continue as usual. You just continue as usual, putting your half doubles all the way to the center back. Once you get there, you turn your work, proceed, and I will meet you once I have a length that I need before I start making my peplum, which is going to be around my belly button from where I am. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit when I have my top. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If so, please don't forget to like, share, and leave me a comment. Okay, so here we are. We have the length that we need to start making the increase. Now I have 4 of my stitch markers. Now here's the catch: you can do more than 4, but I am going to do 4. So the explanation here is you can either, first things first, you're going to calculate and see the number of stitches that you have, and then the next decision you're going to make, you're going to decide whether you want to put your first one here, your second one at the other end, and then you divide the other two, one from the front and the other one from the back. Or you can do 2 from the front and 2 from the back, which is what I'm going to go with. And we're going to be doing the 1 row increase, 1 normal row pattern, so that we don't end up with such a huge increment. We just need a subtle one where where the design is just going to pop out just slowly by itself without too much work and too much exaggeration. So there's mine. I have counted the stitches in between here and at the back and ensured they're all equal. So that's it. We're just going now to get started, and remember, it's up to you how many of these increases you want to have, but just for you to get an idea of what we're doing, we're going to be doing normal increases just like the way we have been doing, the way we started doing. That's what we're going to be doing. So yeah, I figured 4 would be subtle because yeah. So let's dive in. We're going to continue doing the same thing we were doing, and I will meet you at our first increase so that we do this once again. So here we are. You're going to remove your stitch marker, and then you're going to put 3 half doubles in the same stitch. That is our increase. And on the second one, that is where you're going to put back your stitch marker again, like I said, similar way. So you're going to continue putting a single double crochet in each stitch until you get to your stitch marker, which is where you're going to put your increase. Now, for the sake of the video not being extremely long, what we have done here is what you're going to do here, here, and here, all through. Now, this is the first row. Let me go round and finish the row, and I will meet you back here so that we do our normal row, and then from there I'll leave you to it so that you proceed. Here we are. So what we are going to do is this row. Now that is after our first increase row. We are going to not be increasing, to just be a plain row, a normal row, a row without increment. So when you get to your stitch marker, you remove it, put one put one stitch, return your stitch marker, and continue. That is what you're going to do for the second row. Now that's what we're going to be alternating. That's how we're going to be doing it. Now, one increase row, the next normal row. That's how we're going to alternate. Now from the normal row, we're going to do an increase. From the increase, you're going to go to the next one. So we're going to meet when I have my complete item. Here we are with the finished product. So this is my length. I started increasing somewhere from here all the way. I did not count my rows because, like as I've always said, the number of rows I make do not matter, because one, we may not be using the same hook, the same yarn, and we may not be the same size. So your tape measure, as I always say, is your best friend. And we are done. So I have found 3 ways of wearing this top. First way is just wearing it like that. The second way is inserting your hook at the very first increase here and the other side, and then tying it, and same thing from here to the other side and tying it to just create the snatched on the side look. The next way is just putting your lace as a belt on your waist. So those are 3 ways, and I'm sure there are more. You could also make it as a lace corset, either in the front, just below the bust, and before you get to your curve, the increase portion, or at the back. But that is it. We are done, and I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did enjoy making it, because it's something I've always wanted to make, honestly. And here we are, a peplum top. a peplum top. So go ahead, make yours, and don't forget to tag me or DM me your finished product. So thank you so much for stopping by and watching to the end. I'll see you next week.